Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Truth from the Booth. This is episode 22. I'm DJ Prophet, and today's special guest is a longtime friend, fellow DJ, entrepreneur. He is an educator and a father, a husband, an all amazing, all around amazing dude. This is Sunil, aka DJ for real. Welcome to The Truth from the Booth.
Profit. I like it. Truth from the booth.
Yes, sir.
That's what it is. They call you for real because they call me for real because I speak the truth.
Well, and you're the perfect guest, the prophet and the truth,
The
for real.
prophet of the truth. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for jumping on here with me. I know you are a busy, busy, busy man balancing work, life, family, education, and service, restaurant, and maybe finding some time to DJ here and there once in a while now as well. But I want to take us back to the beginning. I know a lot about your story going back with you over about 20 years now.
Yeah.
I think we met when I was on the flavor unit at Power 106. Yep. And we got to know each other through the industry and events and parties and mutual friends, and have been grateful to witness your journey and your growth into, marriage, fatherhood, business owner, and all based off of this vision and dream and love of the art of DJing, which united us in the beginning. I just want to take people back to the beginning. Like, how did this happen for you in the beginning when you first stepped into this world?
It's two part. Love of music started when I was in sixth grade. My cousin, rest in peace, Michael Bucks. Unfortunately, we lost him in 9/11, and that he was part of the towers, but he was one of the first employees for Def Jam. So he would come out here to the West Coast with Public Enemy or Bass, LL Cool J, and he would come eat at the house. So he brought third base over. Chuck D came over. I'm a sixth grade. I don't really know, but I'm starting to like music. And he gave me a Beastie Boys CD. I started to fall in love with music. Fast forward to, I was always intrigued by DJing. That was the part of the culture that I liked the most. It wasn't the breakdancing. I love that, but I love watching dancing still. But no, I wasn't much of a graffiti artist or anything like that. So DJing is what intrigued me the most, being around music as a young kid. And my buddy left his turntables, two 1200s, and a mixer at my house when I was a senior in high school. So I started gravitating towards DJing. And when you start off on 1200s, you kind of get spoiled because then you have to go back. He came and got them, and then I had to find some other turntables.
That are not up
They're
to
not
par.
1200s and the pitch control and everything because that's all I could afford. So is every DJ story at the beginning from our.
Yeah. And so the collection started about the end of high school, and then the when did you first, you know, get outside, as they say now, go outside and play? Was it house party?
Um,
Was it family
no,
party?
so this is no, it was family parties, but luckily in the IE we have a couple record stores, Groove Time, and there was a few other that we could go get records. So I was always getting records and doing stuff and just building my collection. My first, I guess you could say, quote unquote, paid gigs were at the local parks down the street, and I would do their dances on Friday night, and I would be DJing that. And then I guess my real main gig was I got it in college, maybe my junior year. Uh, One of my best friends was the head security for a Club Metro. If
Ah,
some people you can Google it, it was a legendary club out here, and they had four rooms. So they had a house room, two house rooms, and then two hip hop rooms. And the farthest one, all the way to the left, was the more of the, I guess, the boom bap hip hop room at the time. TJ Linwood, who happened to be on 99.1, the radio station that I eventually was on, was he hired me, so I got paid $55, and I brought vinyl, and I played hip hop on Thursday, and I played it on Saturday for about 2 months until my dad was like, "You need to finish your school first before you're staying out till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning on a school night." So that was the short end of my career at Club Metro, but eventually I moved to the radio station from that.
yeah, legendary nightclub. I was there, I witnessed, I experienced, didn't know you then, but I was there. Thursday nights, it was 18 up. I think it was like a huge grocery store that was turned into a nightclub, incredible legendary spot.
Yeah. Lines are crazy. It's around the corner. It's people were
Man,
coming from everywhere to.
everyone was paying to get in.
Everyone was paying to get in.
Now stepping into radio, how did that start? Did you start automatically on air? Did you join promotions?
No, no, no. So, like, I think this is an important lesson for I teach this in my class. Opportunity versus creating opportunities. A lot of the times people want opportunity and they don't want to create their own opportunity. You really have to work to sometimes create your own opportunities to do it. That means you put in the work. It's just not you just because you started DJing, you're just not going to get gigs just because you think you're fly. You really have to find lanes and ways to create your opportunities. So when I graduated from college, I had a job. I hated it. And then I got put on the street team in 99.1 KGGI. Since I was already in with the clubs and with the owners of the clubs, specifically this one called the Rocks Club that they had on Tuesday nights and Wednesday night, and I knew the owners, Billy and Tom. I basically said, "Hey, why don't you advertise on the radio station?" And they said, "Okay." So when I started doing that, that I was like the only street team member actually bringing value and bringing money to the radio station, which got me in front of the general manager. And then the general manager's like, "What are you doing on the street team? You shouldn't be on the street team." And at this time, 99.1 was they were focusing on music, everything besides hip hop. They had actually bet that hip hop and that wouldn't translate to rhythmic top 40, like, like Power is and all that. Kiss, they wouldn't translate. And I was like, listen, you guys are going to have to start playing hip hop or you're going to get lost. I kept on beating the drum. I said it. The PD wasn't happy about it, but eventually I was right. He was wrong. From that, they're like, okay, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. And I was put on the mix show to be the mix show coordinator for a period of time.
It's beautiful. And how long did that with mix show coordinator for those you were scheduling the DJs, picking the music that was going to be played, and picking the
Yeah, well, yeah, I brought a couple of DJs to the radio stations. Some of them are on different radio stations across the country. There's a handful. There's a too many to name that we help give opportunities through that radio station. And then yeah, you would pick it up. You would have one gimme you could play, but you'd always have to play whatever rotations. And eventually, and then we would do it, but you'd have to do it on. I did it on my show, the Friday Night Get Down. But eventually, it led to the point where you couldn't play you just had to play what they want you to play. It was very rare that we could start breaking records. The PD was more in control of the music that we played. At that point, it's what you're like, okay, maybe it's time to move on.
Yeah, I had this similar experience. It's talking about the gimmies when I was at K Day. AD wanted to take away the gimmies. I was like, yo, that's the whole thing that separates us. Like, that's the whole thing that we're educating. We're pulling side records that won't get in rotation. And it went from like 3 gimmies an hour to one and then to none. I was like, you know what? Yeah, like you're handcuffing us and and not paying us enough to play.
No, no, that's exactly what it is. They don't pay you enough to play. A lot of people, they get fascinated with a local celebrity of radio, but and are willing to stay broke for that short bite of fame or whatever they feel they have in their town or city. But it's not a path forward to creating your brand or moving yourself forward to where you can actually make a career out of it. Radio is pretty much I don't want no radio is still a very important part. You're not going to get national tours, you're not going to get a career unless you can unless radio picks you up still. Everyone thinks, oh, you TikTok, this and that. No, if you don't have radio or even at some points a major label behind you, name one artist that's selling tours in stadiums that's not behind a major label. You probably can't. So it's still a very important part, but they've taken away which was a vital part which was the mix show. They removed it from the hands of the DJs to the suits, and that's where the problem probably lies.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where all the problems lie when the streets lose the culture and it becomes vultured and monetized, and creatives that haven't earned the spot by being like guys like us or similar people that came up through the culture that can actually keep it going and still innovate and be new at the same time. Do you feel like that's going to come back? I mean, I feel like, as we get older, we're kind of like the first generation, second generation of DJs that made a living off of it,
Yeah.
legitimately becoming entrepreneur and business owners, club owners, restaurant
Yes.
owners. Do you see DJs climbing that ladder and getting back in charge?
Not on a radio level or a music level. I mean, this is the problem that It's not a problem. You just got to understand the dynamic of it. Radio is a business. Your largest staff is your sales staff. That's it, right? You're supposed to sell commercials. You're supposed to do that. And we're more creative. We don't look at it from a business angle. So they're going to do whatever it takes to make the business sell. What the shift is going now with DJs is that for you to maybe create a career out of DJing, you really have to create and shift and create your own lane and brand of what you want to do. And hopefully it works from us, from our Beat Junkie school to our restaurant that's DJ oriented, to our Beat Junkies TV. We started taking our own control in our own hands. Kids are doing that now. They're doing these throwback R&B parties that seems to be the new thing, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear old music, but they're branding it as their event, their party that they're doing so they can play the music what they want. And so you could still create your lane from it, but for as far as radio goes, radio is not gonna pay your bills. Even tour DJing is not gonna pay your bills. Everybody who's on tour, from dancers to musicians to the DJs that are on tour, it's a struggle, you know.
Yeah, I've
We've
witnessed
toured
it.
with artists, so it's not an easy thing. So the best advice I can give would be find your you and your why, and then do that. And just focus on that. And it doesn't have to be broad. It can be niche, but just focus on what you think you do best. And that's probably your best path towards success within DJing and DJing culture.
No doubt. You mentioned the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound, which you're a part of as well. What is your how did it I know how it came about, but explain to our listeners and watch viewers your relationship there and I mean, I've seen the difference. I've mentioned it many times on this show before of, really stepping the bar up of the beginner DJ now has a standard and you can learn from the best in the business. And talk about the beginning of that and your role in it specifically.
Yeah, well, I was a fan of the guys. I think we all grew up listening to DJ Melody and Ice on the Air. Melody is now one of my closest and dearest friends. But we all started listening to them on the air. They inspired us to their legendary crew from there. Just through our circles, we're fans of them, but we also they become their friends. And so through that, Mello had just kind of moved back from Las Vegas doing that Vegas circuit that DJ AM put him onto, and that's what happened. And so when he came back, I told him, I said, he would hang out with me at my party, Red Cup Sunday. My daughter's in the background. She came to her room, so I can't be mad. You want to say hi, Celine? Of course. This is sorry. Here's a podcast. I'm talking about DJing. They say, say hi to Prophet. All
Hi.
right. So it's a part of being a father right there.
Yeah, the
So
best part.
yeah, yeah. So then I told him, I said, you guys have a brand, but if you don't learn how to monetize the brand, because right now everyone individually is going out, but no one's working together with the brand, you guys are gonna end up, your brand's gonna die. This is the time now where if we can structurally put everything together and and start focusing on the brand. So we did that, and we created the school, and we started really revamping everything because we still had young influencers or kids who were still fans of them that could reach the younger kids who were fans of them. And so that's how it came about. And so I became their business partner in 2012. So 14 years now that we've been together and cultivating businesses together. And they saw my skill in creating business from my success at Icon and Red Cup Sunday. So everything we do now, we pretty much do it together. Myself, Mello, and D Styles are the main three guys, and we don't really approach a business unless if we have an idea, we always bring it to each other first before anyone tries to do anything individually on their own. But yeah, that's how I am. I basically, I don't really speak on it, but everyone knows I'm sort of affiliated with them. But yeah, I'm business partner and the mind behind the business and the launches for a lot of the stuff that goes on with them.
What was your degree in for school?
Communication. I was a communication major. I probably should have done business, and the dean of school of business says you should have done business, but I did a communication major, and I tell this people about school all the time because our business, you don't necessarily need a degree to do what we do. In fact, you don't need a degree to do what we do. You have to have a hustler's mentality first and foremost to do what we do. Anybody who's gone to school on any level, especially a college or university, if you complete it, you have some degree of responsibility. I don't care what you did during those 4 years, but to complete all those classes and do all that work, you have some degree of responsibility. I go, that's pretty much it. But you definitely is not a prerequisite to doing what we do. But I can also tell you that I feel I benefited from it because I was able to communicate with artists on an artist level because, I'm not from the streets, but we're around the streets, right? All of us, we just no matter when we're DJing. And I was also able to communicate with the executives at the record labels on both levels because I could, bridge the gap.
And business at the end of the day is communication, and the better you can communicate, the better business you do, because that's all people want to do is feel connected and trust in a relationship.
Yeah, that you said a important word there. It's relationships. Like I did this thing for my class at La Sierra University. I teach music entrepreneurship to the students there. Basically, what I do is I asked these kids before. I said, "How many of you want to tell me how you're going to change the world? What idea do you have to change the world?" Usually no student will raise their hand. Then I'll say, for $100, how many of you want to tell me how you're going to change the world? Hands come up. Bring a student up. I said, well, you're not going to get $100 today. What you're going to get is $20 and $40 because now you're going to learn the lessons between transactions and relationships. When you tell me what you want to do, you're not thinking maybe I should talk to this guy because he's done stuff in life that could help me, or really let's create a relationship so we can build and that can help me. Versus when I decided to make it transactional, you're ready to go because it's a feed me first culture. Like everything's instant gratification. So you want it right away. I go, this is good in the moment, but this will not give you a career. It has to be in relationships. And Nick Ferreira, Nick Ferreira, a good friend of ours, who's A&R over there at Ladium with Charles and Pitbull. He said a comment. I don't know if he got it from somebody else, but he says you could have everybody in your phone books, but do they pick up when you call?
Right.
And that's the most important part. Like, do they pick up when you call? And if you have fostered good relationships, whether you talk to them in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I don't need to talk to you for a year or two. And if you call me, Prophet, or text me, I'm gonna hit you back because we have a relationship and we understand how everybody moves. No one takes it like, oh, personal. Oh, this person, it's just how it is. But we've fostered good relationships throughout our journey where, that's helped us get along because no one can do it alone. You need help. You need help along the way. So that's a very important part of branching out is like, start establishing your relationships.
No doubt, because with all of my greatest feats have been through alley oops and passing, opportunities for the right fit, and that's what the communication comes in relationships, and that's where the longevity comes in as well. I mean, I've told people this a lot is that, I've had bartenders that became bar managers and bar owners that
Mhm.
reach back in the relationship that we created as youngins, and now they have opportunity to bring to us as adults in the game, and that's usually how you build a long career.
Yeah, that's exactly how you build a long career. People remember you for the good you've done, and then they get back to you. You don't burn bridges.
For sure. And that's a lesson I've learned the hard way and the easy way. Some bridges have been burned because of immaturity and, wanting instant gratification. But at the end of the day, you learn from those things and those mistakes, and you find your lane.
Well, what I tell my staff too at my general manager at the restaurant, I say it's only a mistake if you do it twice. If the first time you do it, if you can learn from it, then it's a lesson learned.
Right.
It's not a mistake, right? But if
Yes.
you keep on doing it again, I said, then you're just idiots. So,
Right.
like, it's only a mistake if you do it twice. Otherwise, consider it a lesson learned if you can grow from it.
Yeah, I like that. You mentioned Icon and Red Cup, two legendary celebrations. I think I would say top, at least had a lot of great parties, but I would say at least top 10 parties in my career of party all time on the rooftop of Icon, middle of downtown, the amazing view. Talk to me a little bit about how that came together. And I think Frank Cortez, Gumby was a part of that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, he was. So the way it kind of came together, rest in peace to Buys One. He didn't have directly part of Red Cup, but he was indirectly part of Red Cup. The Do Over was doing a place, and wherever they were doing it, this is around 2011, so it give you context. And the police were like, "It's too loud. It's residential," wherever it was. So they had come to look at my rooftop to do a Sunday day party. But it was too trendy for them at downtown, and they ended up going to the Sunset Room. I don't know what it's called now, but I'm talking about the Sunset Room outdoor. But I still wanted to do a Sunday day event. If people in the nightclub business, they understand that Fridays and Saturdays pays your bills. Those other nights are the nights where you're going to make your money. So I wanted to do a day party. Gumby and I, we have a mutual friend through Sujit. And I also had known him through Baja Sundays and different things. So he had come and he gave me this idea of the Red Cup Sunday. And he said, "Oh yeah, we serve everything at Red Cups." And I was with it. I believed in it right away. I said, "Okay, we can do that, but I have to control the music and the DJs that are booked. You can have it, but I'm going to be in charge. I'll do the opening sets, but I'll also get who I wanted because I wanted more of the do-over-esque type of backyard feel that came with it versus whatever the trend was at that time, which was the right call because it worked out. I mean, you DJ there and with my network of friends and people who I knew, but we were legitimized right away because, the junkies just usually do just the do-over. And then now all of a sudden they're doing both parties because of my relationships and friendships with them and everybody else who was there from the scam guys and everybody. So it turned out to be like one of the best parties at Maxim magazine or Playboy ranked us one of the top parties in LA for that. Lions were around the corner and it really kind of birthed, I don't want to say birthed, but it was a catalyst for people doing day parties around LA and of that nature. There wasn't, you had the do-over, you had different parties like that, but you didn't have a party that was really focusing more on like Latino culture and just backyard vibes, good times, and
Yeah,
just good
it
music.
felt very LA.
Yeah,
Like, do-over is kinda like everyone in LA that transfers to LA goes
yeah,
there, New York, Boston, Miami, everyone, that's the do but this I felt like do-over was, like, super LA in the middle of downtown. I mean, the views, and then as the day turned to night, the whole energy changed. Uh, it was amazing.
yeah. It was a good run. We had a good run.
How
It
many
was
years
a
was it?
good
Was
party.
it a 3-year run?
It was about four for well at the Icon. It was on the rooftop maybe 2 or 3 years, and then we moved it to downtown. It was never the same after that. It was still good, but
Yeah, and then it turned
it was
into
never like the rooftop
then
at
it turned into
Icon.
strippers and drug dealers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it was. It was like you said, very LA.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's what that was. It was very LA. People wanted to be there, and we had a lot of pretty girls there.
yeah.
That's
And
what it
DJs
was.
and DJs wanted to play there. It was
Yeah,
legitimized. Beat
oh,
junkies
for sure.
played there. There was always what I did like about your programming was there was always like a legend, a newcomer, and a mid-year guy. Like, it was a nice blend of career status,
Yeah,
and that made for a great night because the way the night evolved, by the time the headliner got on, everyone was ready for him to go anywhere,
yeah, yeah.
anywhere he or she wanted to go.
And the DJs we book, that's what they want to do.
Right.
They want to be able to when you DJ a lot, and probably you know this because you gig a lot. Is that it's refreshing when you get to do what you want to do.
It's the best.
Okay, like because otherwise, you are formatted to like different places and bars. You know what the crowd is. Part of being a DJ also is the most important part is reading your crowd, reading the room. So if to be a good DJ, you're gonna play music you don't like, right? That's part of being a great DJ. And if you want to be a selfish DJ, you can play what everyone like, and you can have some sort of hubris that you think that everybody thing that you like is what people likes. That's probably why, if you think about it, like DJs, they don't want to take requests. It's not because they don't want to play your music or they have a flow that they're doing. But in today's day and age, I tell people this: you know what level of selfishness it is for you to come and request a song now with access to your iPhone. You can hear this in your car. You can hear this when you walk. You can hear this in the morning, in the shower, wherever you want. You can hear this song. But for some reason, you think that everybody in this room wants to hear your song and that we need to play it through these speakers
Right
for
now.
everybody right now because you're right. Everybody's right. I mean, I tell them, I go, I've said this at my restaurant. I go, the level of selfishness for you to keep coming requesting this song when you can listen to it at home. And I said, it's not even in the same range or tempo of what's going on right now. It's like,
Yeah,
you're playing
totally
Line, Baby, We're Gonna
yeah.
Love Tonight, and you come in requesting SWE Weaken My Knees. It's like, what are you
What are you doing?
what are you doing?
Yeah,
Go home and listen to it on your own.
right. Now with the success of Red Cup and the Beat Junkie School, and now moving into new entrepreneur waters with made from scratch pizza. I believe that you're partnered with Melody on that and the
Yep.
Beat Monkeys, or is it just Melody
It
in Redlands?
me Mello and I are the primary owners. The guys are obviously involved in it. It was very capital intensive, and so Mello and I, we kind of bootstrapped it.
Yeah.
I'm very well connected with a lot of venture cap companies, but with these, you can't really just like when you tell somebody I'm going to make a DJ themed restaurant, they're not going to give you any money. It's just not going to happen. You're right. This is something that we thought was going to work, and you know, it ended up working. Recently, we just last week we had yesterday we had our 1 year anniversary, but it ended up working because we believed in food, music, and culture, and we believed in good food, good music, and culture, and it's really music is what I call the time travel machine. It's one of those things where you can close your eyes and listen to it, and it can take you back to a different time and place. So when you come to our restaurant, you are going to hear all types of music besides today's current music for the most part. We'll play little songs here and there that we like, but you're not most of it's going to be throwbacks and classics to kind of like take people there to, but they spend their time and money. Oh, I forgot about that song. Or, oh, I remember when this song came out. And it's doing well. The restaurant's good. And we won best pizza in Redlands and best
Congratulations.
wine. Yeah. So it's doing very well. So the concept has been proven.
Yeah, I recently read because I'm very much adamant about restaurants adding, live playlists rather than their Spotify. So I've been doing a deep dive. Out here in Temecula, where I live, they're not hip to game. I play at STK in LA. In Irvine, I play at Soul Cocina, the Mexican restaurant, Taco Tuesdays. And LA is more Tao has restaurants have DJs now, and there's case studies that show that the customer is 40% more likely to purchase more with a live music atmosphere such as a DJ, not so much a live musician but a live DJ, and just creates the ambiance and, like you said, good food, good culture, good people. I mean, that's what people come together and eat to do, is like they want to have that nostalgia, that family memory that triggers all the buttons for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% believe that because they've enjoyed themselves when they're there, right? So when you're like when I'm playing the music, and this is the only time I DJ now, myself and Mello is just at our restaurant for the most part. But on Fridays is my day when I DJ. I start like it's old school, Prophet. I start at 6 o'clock and I end at 12. I do 6 hours straight DJ. This is what we used to do. So so you're really going through music, and I'll see people sitting at the bar, and when they go like this and look at me like, what are you playing? Then I know I'm going on the right track. I mean, this what like, and also stuff too, like you see somebody coming in, like I saw this gentleman was wearing a Jodeci shirt, and then I played Jodeci Get On Up. Like he's like, man, my shirt. He didn't realize I saw your shirt, buddy. That's why
All,
I
I do
played
that
it.
all the time.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just surprising. Oh, but then you're like catering to them. When people feel like they're being catered to and wanted to eat, that's why they go to restaurants. It's very important for restaurants to be successful. Restaurants like at least like mine, you have to create a sense of community around it. And what we're really good at, Beat Junkies brand, is creating community around our school, around our restaurants, around everything that we do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's about the relationship. People want to come in and feel like a VIP, feel like they are being treated special, feel like they are that important person that, is there getting catered to. And that's why we go out, and that's part of the experience now, especially with the instant gratification era that we are in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's super important for the success of a restaurant to do that for people. And the reading of people, how I mean, that transfers over into the business restaurant. Obviously, I mean, you're reading the customer, you see what you're adjusting
Hmm.
your tempo, your flow, your choice of music
Yep.
for them in order to gratify them. Why pizza though? Is that your favorite food, or Mellows?
No, no, no. So not really. So though I'll give you the backstory of how this idea came up. We
It could
have,
have been Beat Junkies Burgers.
yeah. I mean, we have. There was a place called San Fernando. I'm sure you might be familiar with it. It's a couple blocks from the DJ school. Babu was like, "Yo, they're trying to sell it." I'm like, "Well, if they're trying to sell it, let's buy it." Because my relationship, anyone who came to Icon and the rooftop, the food was we had really good food. Part of the Red Cup Sunday, and our chefs were Michelin star like chefs that were there and that were my friends. So I said, we can do that over there, and then we can facilitate our DJs from the school to DJ in front of people. That was the whole idea. When COVID happened, my buddy who owns the block in Redlands, he was like, why don't you just do it with us? And my idea, I said, I'll do it. And the reason why we picked pizza is for a couple reasons. Pizza is one of the most profitable foods that you can have. Also, flour, what you do, because we make our dough fresh every day, right? So flour, water, yeast, all that stuff, their shelf life is a lot longer versus a sushi place or a steak place or burgers or meats, because you have this stuff there. Tomato sauce is like, we do our own tomato sauce. We use Bianco's tomatoes, San Marzanos, but they're in cans, right? So there's more shelf life there. And then a pizza could represent a 12-inch.
I love
And
the
that was the basis of it. So we only have one size that you could order at our restaurant. It's a 12-inch, like a vinyl. And so that's why we went with pizza, because it's circular 12-inch vinyl. And there was so many like I guess double entendres, you could say, between us using the word fresh as DJs that we scratch, to food being fresh, to money, cheese, people, as there's
yeah.
so many ways you could double
So many
down.
metaphors.
Yeah, that it made so much more sense. Like our pepperoni pizza is the notorious PIG. Like everything's named after music and stuff. So the fabric started to fit well and fit together. So it made sense. Okay, well let's do pizza.
Yeah, I love the concept. I love the dedication to it because my favorite spots are those niche spots that are, this is what we do. This is who we are. Everything is smarter. Like the menu names are intelligent. They make sense. They're in our niche. Yeah, everything about it, man. I can't wait to come through and celebrate your birthday with you, turning
Yeah.
50.
Big
By the way,
five
one
oh.
year of business at Made from Scratch Pizza, and the
Yeah.
next weekend, your 50th birthday, balancing all the businesses, a DJ, and obviously your family who we see running around back
Mhm.
there. Awesome.
Yeah, my little one.
What kind of discipline does it take to live this lifestyle of balancing it all?
I can say that it's you need a lot of help. I'm fortunate enough that I have an amazing wife who can hold it down in other aspects and work together as a team. My mom and my aunts and uncles very helpful. Watch the kids. My son's 20 years old now, and so he can help sometimes pick up with a little one and who's 8. I have a 20-year-old, 14, and 8-year-old.
Dude, I have a 22, 17, and 9. Why do we live the same life?
We do out here, and so like it's they can help each other, but it's where do you find the time is when you're at an age of 50, and you're tremendously blessed to be a father of beautiful kids. 15 years married with my wife, 21 years together. You create this. You make time for what you want and you find time to do it. You sometimes I the saying you have to live the life that no one wants to live the life that everybody wants to live. You have to do it. Like I told you the thing earlier before we jumped on and started recording it. At 50 years old now, I'm ready to make my full circle of life. I have my restaurant that I'm pushing forward, and we're going to open other made from scratches in the coming years, and then it'll give other DJs opportunities to open made from scratches, and then also now I'm back at my old school where I graduated from. I'm teaching a class there. It was a my son. I spoke to like 100 some odd students uh, and the colloquium for the business. And my son introduced me, and it was also the building that my dad last worked on before he passed away in early 2001. And so it was a full circle moment to where now I just wanted with the school and everything we do, I just want to find ways to help others and just give back. That's where you're nothing if you can't give back to the community that birthed you. Like you have to find ways to do it. And, you know, you reached a point where we're extremely blessed to be still doing what we do at our age, that maybe now it's time that we return the blessings.
Yeah, I love that so much. You said that beautifully, and to pay it forward. I mean, this life of a passion and love for the culture has created so much beauty for us with families and many lifelong experiences and relationships and dreams that have really been fulfilled. And to be able to give back and inspire and maybe show people the way as as an educator is the perfect way. And to open a restaurant, create opportunities for other people, from booking DJs to educating them on how to move forward and keep the longevity in their career, and the skills it takes to be a good DJ with the school. I mean, you're doing it and you're doing it well, Sunil, man. And I'm just grateful for you. My salute to you for
Yeah.
continuing to do what you do. And a young age of 50, we got at least 35 to go.
We do. Like and plus I think we look good for our age anyway. So
Well, I think that's what happens when you live a life of passion and what you love. It's the stress is high, but you enjoy it so much that it
yeah,
doesn't wear you out. It's not
yeah.
draining, it's actually inspiring. And that's where I think kind of us that's how we stay young because we're still that 17-year-old kid that loves this so much that we'll do whatever it takes to keep doing it.
I'm still instead of looking through liner notes now, I'm still going to the music services and clicking view credits to see who produced it. It's
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
everything, you know? It's like it's still what brought us here. We still enjoy the music part of it, and I love listening to new music and finding new music to play still.
Yeah, do you have any top new picks? Do you any new artists or sounds that you're digging on?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go the most popular route, I do appreciate the Swag 2 album that Justin Bieber did.
Yeah.
A lot of those drums and R&B drums are like Jimmy Jam and Terry
Yeah, I was
Lewis.
gonna say they're very New Jack Swing,
Yeah,
very, B.
yeah, and I mean, he's the guys who produced it with him, Dijon and Carter Lang, and then Dylan Wiggins, who happens to be the son of one of the Tony guys.
Oh, wow.
So he's they did all that production. So there's a pedigree there of that style of music that he's creating. So I like that. And then there's other artists like their jams. The song that I listen to right now is totally different from that, but it's by a group called I think it's called Muna MUNA, and they're a girl band that's been out for a while. Dancing, I think it's called Dancing for Something. I have it, but my kids listen to it with me. But yeah, I just try to find whatever I like and listen to it, and then if it's new or cool that I'll play it at the restaurant. And so, that's always fun. The best thing about, like Mello says, my restaurant, my rules. We gotta play we play
It's
what we
always right.
all play the music. We
That's where we
see what
take the
people
DJ mentality, be like, "Listen, we know what we're doing here, okay?"
uh, yeah. Yeah, we've been doing this too long. You're not gonna tell us what to do here.
I got some quick questions for you, just some fun rapid fire stuff. What is one of the most important habits every DJ needs?
This
Beautiful. One business move every DJ should make.
one business move. Create an LLC.
Thank you very much. True from the booth. Done. And trademark if you have a logo because fools will try to take your shit. I don't know what's happening with this generation. They don't Google if people have names already, but I'm seeing a bunch of repeat names of people, DJs coming down the list.
But biting and snitching is considered okay now. So that's the problem.
It's crazy.
They play by different rules.
I'm saying there are no rules. They make up their
No,
own.
they don't even care.
What is one truth you wish you knew that you could tell yourself back in the beginning, young Sunil at 18 coming out of high school, getting his own turntables?
Well, one truth I would say that would be, um, you know, what is it? A Tribe Called Quest. Record people are shady.
Yeah, rule 3080.
It's shady. Record people are shady.
Yeah.
That's really true. Like it's hard to find good people in the music business. We're actually fortunate that all our DJ circles around from the B to Power to us, we're all still friends. For the most part, we went to Puerto Rico together. We did all that. West Coast DJs were very different, but I still have friends. Brian said the people, but a lot of record people are shady. They'll take advantage of you, take your ideas and run with it. And, never pay you and keep on sliding you like, oh, I'm gonna pay you, I'm gonna pay you, I'm gonna pay you, I'm gonna pay you. But they never pay you.
I
But
think that's what I think that was the early I think that kind of burnt me in a jaded way when I got involved heavier as I came up, and it made me actually, like Biggie said, I've been in this game for years. It's made me an animal, and it
yeah,
kind of made me a savage animal of a person I actually didn't like to be. For a small spurt of my career there, that I had to learn the hard way. That what we mentioned earlier, I burned some bridges was because I've been done. You couldn't trust nobody.
You can't trust nobody,
Yeah,
dude.
unless you were aggressively adamant about what you want, what you need, and what you deserve, you were gonna get stepped on.
Yeah, you were gonna get stepped on if you can't. If you were, they would just take advantage of you. Even PDs to everything. You could break records and stuff, and then they're the
Never
ones with
get
the
credit
plaque.
or yeah,
Yeah, like,
or
yeah, you're
never
the
get
one who brought
paid.
it.
We never got one freaking plaque. I had to make my own, decoration.
It's just yeah, that record people are shady.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great lesson. I've, shared that sentiment, obviously. Best advice you've ever received?
I've received a lot of good advice. I don't know if there's particularly one best advice that I received. I think probably the best is that is about a work ethic, right? And show up when you say you're going to show up, be on time, do what you say you're going to do. Hard work will always outwork talent. I heard this somebody say, so I don't want to be put like it, but unless the talent works hard. And so it's like you have to work hard. Like nothing is going to be given to you. No expectations, no disappointments. You just have to just do what it is. So that's what I would say. The best advice would be to be is just like, you can always be better. Like I tell my kids, be better every day, work hard every day. You can never stop being better.
Love that. Yeah, 1% every day. I live that. I tell my kids that because I coach my own kids. It's all about improving. There's an
Yeah,
infinite
every day.
we all have infinite potential to be better. Why do we stop growing after we get done with school? Why do we stop learning? Why do we stop evolving? I never understood that. And because we have so much power in this mind and to create and become. And I'm glad we are cut from the same cloth on that. It's all said and done. What do you want Sunil DJ for real to be remembered for, first and foremost?
There's two parts, and I'll say this one, which I think I'll be remembered for. But one of my greatest compliments that I get from my friends that are in the community now with Instagram, you can see everything, is not necessarily anything to do related to DJing. They're like, you're a really good father to your kids. You really engage with them. We see you with them. Like you could see it. That in itself is probably the most gratifying.
That's beautiful, man. And then the second thing, when it's all said and done, that you want to be remembered for.
Yeah, I would say that that I helped others. That was my main goal, to help others, and I believe I've done that, and I helped a lot of people. Well, I don't want credit for them, but always be able to give back. I tell people, basically my students that one gift that I realized that I had is that I can make people better that are better than me better. That's part of being a
You're a
coach
boost.
or
Yeah,
anything
you're
else.
a boost.
Yeah, so, you realize, well, if you can realize where you fall short, or you can realize what you could do good, that's how you build team, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're a great team member. You definitely boost performance and business, obviously, with some of your with your businesses. We talk about the successful business? Has there anything that's tried and failed that kind of got you to this point? Like, has there been like any investments that you thought were going to work, didn't work, or anything that you drew up as far as ideas that got scratched like that? Is
No,
there
I mean, I've been involved with businesses that I didn't own that went public and then they failed. It's a journey along the way. Like I said, like we said before, like it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. Fortunate enough that the last few businesses that we have done have dialed in, and so far, God willing, continue to be successful. But when you start chasing ideas that you love versus ideas that you think will win, then you've already won.
yeah.
That's the key. Like, okay, because there's a lot of speakeasies and stuff, that vinyl and all this stuff that's going on right now. There's actually one right down the street from us. And when people ask, I said, I mean, I'm not trying to. I don't want to compare ourselves to them, but there's a difference between us and them, and the difference is we live this and we still live this. DJing is not something we just do. We just happen to put it into a restaurant because
Yeah.
that's what we do. Like this is what we love. Like this is the life we live. Like when you come to my restaurant and you see all the vinyl that is sitting in the bar, that is vinyl that I got from radio. When you see our plaques on the wall, that's vinyl that we got. When you see Melody's 45 wall, those are 45s that he collected that we put up there. So this is over time and years we've lived it. We just didn't go and say, okay, let's find a store and buy all this stuff to make it said, because guess what? DJing is the trend in restaurants, or DJing is what you need to do. It's not a trend for us. It's what we do.
Yeah, I think the power lives in authenticity, and that's where the longevity is built because people know the reputation. It's not a trend. We're not riding the wave. We're not jumping on board. We're not culture vulturing. This is what it is. This is what we live. And that attracts more authentic people that are loyal. Like you said, you have regular customers now that are coming in, and
Yeah.
pizza, shit, you can eat that 3, 4 times a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We can. I mean, like it is also we have a full bar, so people
Yeah,
enjoy
how did you get
drinks.
the full bar?
So the way it is that basically they have what they call a 47 license. And a 47 license means that you must sell at least 51% food, which is not a problem, 50% liquor. Those are the licenses that they give out every year. And they do it by what they call a lottery.
I was gonna
So
say you had to get in the lottery, right?
you pay
Yeah.
pay to get in the lottery. You pay us like $16,000, 16,500, and if your name gets drawn, you get the license. You get an opportunity to have a license. They have to come and make sure you're on board and what you say you're going to do. But you get the license. Otherwise, you'll have to buy it secondhand, and it's like buying a house. The escrow, there's everything, and those licenses in LA County can go anywhere between 500,000 to $1.5 million. San Bernardino County is a little bit larger county, so you could probably get licenses for about
I was gonna
$80,000,
say it's about
60,000.
90,000 out here in Temecula.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's around there. So you could do it, but if you can win that lottery, then you can get it for 16. No,
Oh, and the
it-
16 goes towards the license. You got it. You're
you
in.
got the license. You got the license. So now we own this license, and so we can move it. But to when you get a license, it's like it's not that you could just get this license. They do background checks on you and your spouse if you're married. So our liquor license is myself, Mello, D, and all three of our wives. You have to do the fingerprints, send it into the Department of Justice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
It's
before everything
big
comes back.
business. Yeah, it's mafia shit.
Yeah, you have to do it. I mean, if you have like say a misdemeanor or you had a DUI or something, that's going to come up, and then you're going to have to write a letter or something. I never got g- I've never had those, but people have had them, and you have to go write letters and say, "Hey, this is why I had it," or make an appointment to convince your person that you can still use the license because these liquor licenses are gold.
Yeah, they are because they're not easy to come by,
Oh,
especially in different areas. Here they're competing with wineries, so they hold those liquor licenses to as no compete clauses, basically. So, hi,
she wants to be on camera. Come here, you want to sit
yeah,
with
come
me?
host the
Yeah, so
show.
she's trying to nonchalantly be on camera. This is my best friend. She spends the most time with the baby.
Hi.
So they don't have school today. I'm not. We didn't take them out. They have teachers in service.
Oh, nice. So I kept my daughter home today too, just because she felt like staying home. So
Yeah,
whatever she wants. Nice to
yeah,
meet you. Thanks for coming on the show.
yeah.
Thanks for giving
Yeah.
me your
Say hi.
daddy for some time.
Yeah, she
No
wants to
doubt.
go.
All good,
Go,
man.
man. Go
Well,
ahead.
hey, man, let me just let's tell everybody where they can find you. All social media
Yeah,
platforms,
yeah.
the restaurant, the Beat Junkie School, the website, the record pool. We didn't even touch on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, record pool, we don't focus that much attention on, but we do still. It's still around.
Yeah,
Beatjunkies.com. You can find everything there. Links to our school, Beat Junkies Institute of Sound. It's located in Glendale. I believe that coming in June, we'll have the new intro class will start. We also have a new production class with Ty Lofal, who's a Grammy nominated or maybe might be Grammy winning producer that's teaching Ableton there on another level. And then you can always catch me at DJ For Real 24. The 24, I used to be 12 because, mic check 1 2 1 2.
yep,
But then when Kobe passed away, I moved it to 24.
love that.
And so you could DJ For Real, the number 4, REAL 24. And then if you want to catch us, we're always at the restaurant Wednesday through Monday. Tuesdays are day off. It's located in Redlands. It's called Made from Scratch Pizza Kitchen. And if you guys want some really good food, some salads, some bomb wings, she's promoting the thing. Then
Hi, girl.
you'll get to experience for yourself this Sunday at my birthday party.
Yes, I am. I'm bringing the camera. We're gonna get some beef
Yeah,
footage for this, and we're gonna celebrate big time. So,
yeah,
man, I appreciate you so much for coming on the Truth from the Booth.
yeah.
Thank you,
I
all the
appreciate you, Prophet.
subscribers. What's that?
I said I appreciate you.
Of course, man, no doubt. Always give back. Like you said, you've helped me in my career with just not only moral support, bookings, cosigns, relationships the whole way, and You're very
Yeah.
inspiring with your business and the way you handle yourself, and as a father, as a husband, as a friend, and a brother. Salute to you, my guy.
All love.
Thank you so much for coming on the Truth
Yeah.
in the Booth. Thank you for all of our subscribers. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment on the episode. Tell your friend about us on Spotify, on Apple Music, and on YouTube, all streaming platforms. Follow us on Instagram. Thank you to all supporters on there as well at The Truth from the Booth. And the website is up, thetruthinthebooth.com, where you can keep up
There it
with
is.
all past episodes and also pick up the merch, which I got mine coming soon. So you'll see me decked out. We got beanies, we got hats, we got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got coffee mugs. So thank you for all the support. This is episode 22, DJ for real. Thank you so much, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
you.
Prophet Man. Always love, brother.
Always. Until next time. Bam, bam, bam. Do it. Don't hang up. It's going to render. All right. Bam.